Hey everybody, this is Matt once again coming to you from Spur, Texas, and you're watching Broke Rednecks. What we're going to talk about today is something I call the quarter trick. It's a little something for new shooters. If you're new to firearms, or even if you've been doing it for a while and you got a new gun, and you're just not as accurate as you think you should be, I'm going to show you all a little way to help fix that. Now, first of all, we're using Smith & Wesson SD40. Slides back, no magazine. I've checked to make sure it's unloaded. Make sure you do that because this is going to involve dry firing a handgun. So, again, nothing in the chamber, slide's empty. We can drop this magazine. Now, something to remember about firearms is they always hit what you're pointing at, not necessarily what you're aiming at. Now, if you've learned how to get a good sight picture, you know how to aim your handgun, but you're finding that you're just not hitting that bullseye, you're tending to spread out your shots all over. One of the reasons for that, you see this with a lot of new shooters, or people that get a new gun. I'll pick on myself. When we first got these SD40s, I was used to Glock. They have a relatively short trigger pull. This one, I'm going to use my thumb, has kind of a deep trigger pull. Long ways before it pops. So we were having the tendency when pulling the trigger to pull and expect it to go off and kind of jerk it. So we had to go back and, basically go back to basics on how to aim and point accurately and not anticipate recoil or make the shots drop. And something I always do, and again we're going to dry fire this gun, is I take a quarter and I put it right there, right in front of the front sight. You're going to find if you're a new shooter, you're somebody who hadn't practiced a whole lot, when you pull that trigger the first time, you're going to find your hand shaking a little bit, and when you pull the trigger slightly before, that quarter is going to fall off. What you want to do is get to a point to where you can fully extend, like in an aiming position, with the trigger on that gun, pull the trigger, and have the quarter stay right there in front of that front sight, as y'all saw that it did. Now, that seems like a goofy little thing, but when you're aiming, the ballistics of a handgun, of any gun really, but especially a handgun, are so precise that just to wiggle your hand slightly may only be a quarter of an inch here, but at 25 feet away, wherever your target, it may be several inches. And so if you anticipate recoil one time and pull up, or you go to pull the trigger and you jerk it a little bit down, if you do that in slow-mo where you're anticipating recoil, that round goes that way. Or when you're jerking the trigger a little bit, that round goes down. If that's an issue and you want an easy way to practice it, just go out and get yourself in my case, what is that? That is an Idaho quarter. Apparently they were founded in 1870. Put it on the tip, right there in front of the front sight, lock it up real good, and just aim. Very simply, pull the trigger slowly, pull it over and over, and make sure that quarter doesn't fall off. Now, again, before you try this at home, always, always, always make sure this gun is unloaded. Don't just drop the slide, don't just rack the chamber and make sure there's not a round in. Pull it back, lock it back, look inside. Make sure there is no ammunition in or around this gun. Also, when you practice, don't practice in the mirror, don't practice pointing at people. Practice in a safe direction. That said, once you do it, if you try putting a quarter right next to that front sight and you dry fire this gun a few times, and you may have to do it over and over and over, but when you get to the point that your friendly Idaho quarter stays right there on the front sight the way you want it to, you are going to find your next trip to the range is a whole lot more accurate. Anyway, guys, again, I'm Matt. We're here at Broke Rednecks. I hope you like and subscribe, and I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit us up in the comments and let us know what you think. See you next time.